Oh, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Sorry.
No worries. You're busy working woman. I'm with Sharon Eisenstadt of She. And as I told her before we went on, I definitely had to step up my fashion game. But the truth is that Sharon and I, from whether it's a pandemic or not, the one thing you and I always have in common is that we get up in the morning and we get dressed.
That's correct.
We
Every morning.
You and I have talked about this. We had babies together who are still good friends. And we've always talked about the fact that we're working moms and that we feel better when we get up, we get dressed. Correct. And I think like it's something our own mother has instilled in us, that it's how you start your day, you know? But I was thinking back before we were going to do this interview, and I was kind of laughing because I remember one of the first times, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember one of the first times I came to you, and we're going to talk about your history, but I came to you and I had to go to the Emmys.
Yes, I remember that.
And I was like, what do people wear to the Emmys in Michigan? And you had such great style, and it wasn't like I needed to stand out. I needed to fit in, not stand out, but just, be classic. And it's the one thing I think that you always know how to do is you just know how to dress a woman, you know how to dress the body type, what people look good in. And so where I want to start is sort of your background. Like, how did you get into fashion? I mean, little girls love to look through magazines and pretty pictures, but how did you know that you wanted to?
So I was always a fashion girl. I should back up. I liked working. So when we started doing sleepover camp, I decided to stay. I went to Walden for a year. I think I went to Tamarack for a year. And then I just wanted to make money. And I started working at Brody's. So I did what I do best. I got everybody ready for camp. So I did that whole trunk. Remember the trunks?
Yeah.
So I did the trunk thing and I got the list and I was a pro. And I think that was kind of like an aha moment for me, because from there I went on to I think I worked at Cover Up back in Orchard Mall, and I worked at Bivouac all through college. So I worked for them. They would send me to New York. I stayed all summer. So I not only had the students that were my clients, I really focused a lot on the locals, a lot of doctors' wives and professors and people like that. So I kind of started clienteling before that was actually kind of like a benchmark word. And that was really the start and the finish. And then from there, true story, when I graduated, I walked in, I think I was on my way to another job, just a job that I had in Ann Arbor. I stopped at Hudson's. I walked up very in Sharon format. I had my resume with me. I asked somebody, I shook their hand. I said, is there anybody that I could speak to right now? I was hired that day to run the designer salon, which was the Oval Room. So at 22 years old, on $21,000 a year, I was going to change the world. And you can imagine the mistakes I made with my staff, who was very seasoned, and me wanting to just, do it all.
At that time, was the job a stylist, or, I mean?
Yeah, they were definitely stylists. And again, it was a little bit more old school. You're talking about the Oval Room, like the Year of the Coat Dress, all those. But I definitely, again, I think with all those types of experiences, I became me. I kind of benchmarked myself and my own standards and what I would want in service, and went from there. And that's really how we opened this store. I did the same thing. I came into the store when we were over next to Lee's Specialty in the middle of winter before we gutted the store. So there was no heat in there. I sat down with 3 friends with notepads, with our hats, gloves, and coats on. And we said, let's write down everything we want and enjoy in customer service, what things are missing in the community for people to buy, and
Mhm.
how would I incorporate that into one store. So after, I ended, before I opened my own store, I was in the design, I ran the designer salon at Saks in Troy. I personally didn't like selling just high. I really believed in high-low, where you can mix, your white t-shirt from Old Navy with a Chanel skirt and no one's going to say boo because it's just a white t-shirt. So I wanted to be able to sell within the integrity of how I would want someone to sell to me. That was really important. And then other things we did in our store that we still do today, like grids in the fitting rooms versus hooks. So we have one
Right.
hook in there you could put your coat on, but really that's, if I'm setting a room for somebody, I want them to see my whole story, the story that I kind of, talked to them about and thought about their lifestyle and all of that. So
So when you opened She, and one of the things we'll say a lot during this, because not everyone's been to your store, but you definitely want to go to She Stores with an S on the end.com. Start, I always tell people start online, but that doesn't really tell us the whole story because you have so many things in your store.
I think our Instagram is the most updated every day. The stories on Instagram and the feed on Instagram, we update the minute the stuff hits our store.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute, and because we'd be remiss not to talk about certainly the last 3 months. I mean, you and I probably talked the second. I mean, you're so lucky you have an amazing publicist as well, my dear friend. And the minute this all hit back in March, sort of small businesses, large businesses, our community, everybody's community really changed. And you had to really change. Probably the first few days you were working out of your store, we all thought everybody could work out of their stores. And then that really wasn't the case.
Right.
You sort of gathered up everything, and your house became your dining room. Really
Next morning, literally, we became She in the dining room, literally in one day.
So for those who were following you, what was really going on with your business plan? Because that certainly wasn't your business plan. You had to really overnight change your focus.
So some stores actually closed earlier than we did, and we did not. We were offering through our store those last 2 weeks in March, drop-offs and pickups. And a few clients still really wanted to come in and would wear a mask, and we wore masks. And so we kind of already had started that. It wasn't a ton of people, but it was enough that we just felt like we're going to stay open till the very last minute, because I never thought for 1 minute that I wasn't going to continue my business for 3 months. So I already had in my head, this will be my next step. But I love my store. Like, I just wanted to be in this environment, and for as long as I could offer what we do best, which is this beautiful, huge store and 2 seating areas and wine here and all, see my bar in the back. So I wanted that experience for our clients. So, and we were also selling aggressively the gift certificates. So that became, we did an incentive. A couple stores did that in the area. We thought it was super smart. And we now every week, I'm actually going through some of them and like inviting clients in for personal appointments. And I have actually a client coming in today right after I'm done with you. So we did that. And then literally there was a lockout. So at some point the police were going to lock you out of your store. So There was no choice. At first there was a choice. So I looked at Howard, I said, let's just pack it up. We got all the cars over here, Julia over here. We did everything to set up the store in the dining room. And I would say like the first day it was just basically closed. I had all the jeans. It kind of worked. The setup of my dining room is kind of minimalistic, like my store. So it really worked. And I brought in some rolling racks, but then aggressively, over the weekend we came back and I got the candles and I did a gift area. And then I took my back display table and then all of a sudden it became candles and books and some fine jewelry. And I really just incorporated every assortment that we had into our store exactly how I would do it if we were here in my dining room.
What I thought was great was, and I've said this to other um, local owners, is it gave people an opportunity if they wanted to and were comfortable, because everybody's, feeling of the economy was different. But it gave people during a time where if they wanted something new to feel better,
Mhm.
it gave them an opportunity to shop, encouraged people to shop local, to,
Correct.
to
Yeah.
support
Mhm.
themselves. And what was great also is the community around was supporting one another.
Mhm.
You
Correct.
were you were supporting your local retailers, encouraging people, because the bottom line is that if local store A doesn't support local store B, then it doesn't work for a lot of people. And you did a
Right.
great job encouraging people to do that.
It was
And
fun, actually. We had a really good, I think we did a good job, and it was fun. And I think it was fun for clients,
yeah,
really.
I mean, I saw that and I thought the same thing, that you really came off the bat first with the gift cards. Um, and I had a lot of people say to me, um, it's interesting. They're like, well, why would I buy a gift card? What if the store is not there when we're done?
We were
You
asked
know,
that a couple of times. We were definitely asked that.
and I said, right, buy the gift card.
Right.
You need
Exactly. That's a great answer, actually.
you need to have the store be there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Buy the shirt so the store will be there. And I'm always, like you as an owner, but as a publicist, I'm always really careful. I don't look in anyone else's window wallet, but you know, your store allows someone to buy something very high end if they want, but you also have accessories. You have jewelry, you have a candle. I remember once walking in there and I was like, oh my God, you have this David Bowie book that, my husband would never buy himself. I mean,
Right.
here it's a woman's store and I bought that book that sits on our coffee table that,
We
Mitch,
carry the passion books. They're fabulous. I love them.
yeah.
And
So,
also, our price point starts at $65. Blank starts at that price point. Chaser starts at that price point.
mhm,
We carry Velvet, which is a really, sharp price point as
yeah.
well, where you get a lot of product for the money. So again, coming from the designer world, I knew the silhouettes that I wanted to sell, but I knew some of them shouldn't be, $2,000 for a blouse. Like I just knew it. And that's really, to this day, when I go to market, what I look for. I do a lot of research. I know the color stories. I watch all the fashion shows. And the next thing you know, I'm in market and I'm creating the same assortment, but I'm going to do it from a low to high price point.
Let's hit on that. With you are somebody that I love and get jealous when you get on an airplane to go to New York.
Mhm.
I follow you religiously. I love to see where you eat in New York. I call myself a New Yorker.
You are?
But you get to New York, and I love to watch your day in New York. You go to the shows, then you go right into the designers. You have amazing relationships with designers. What's that going to look like now? I mean, how is, you know,
So I'll tell you what it's looking like right now. I don't, again, I don't know the future, just like you don't know the future. It's hard to pinpoint it because you don't know, like right now, you can't just go on a plane and go to New York. Like you
yeah,
just can't. And again, the ready to wear designer world, contemporary world, they're all working from home. So what I'm doing is exactly what you're doing with me right now. So I've had these meetings like 3 times a day. They're aggressively trying to get their orders in so they can, kind of figure out what will be the assortment. So
mhm,
there's a couple things that I've already done. So I've edited down a lot of things. I really am looking at what are people going to need now. And it's actually changed a little bit because I would say she in the dining room was very casual. And then for the few people that had maybe a shower or something that they were going to be doing with family, one of my clients has a son getting married. So, there was reasons to have some dressier things, but the dresses really until we were much closer to getting back in our store were not blowing out. They just look pretty in the in the video. And it was,
No, there were.
I can even tell you the jeans, t-shirts, sweaters. And so I
know, like you have like a couple skirts and dresses you put on, and I'm like, I want those. Where am I going?
So it was great being out. I went to Baco. It was fun, and I was so excited to be wearing my clothes and matching.
I know. I was texting you. I'm like, and what are you wearing?
Oh, right, you did text me. You did.
I know. I mean, you know, the funny thing is, I'm in a dress today, and I mean, I crack up. I mean, I'm probably you and I, but right. I put on dresses in my house working because it feels good and it's fun. I'm telling you, Sharon, it's just you and I.
So how do you feel today? That's what's important. Like, how do you feel today? My feeling when I saw you immediately was that you felt like you look pretty. I could tell.
I do. Well, I do. And you know what? I have a couple like dresses that I just love to wear. They're comfortable. I like to get dressed, even if it's like a couple dresses where I wear my Steve Madden tenor shoes.
Yeah.
Like, and I love like when you do that, like you have and forgive me because you know I don't know always designers, but it's like this really pretty ruffly pink. You were twirling in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's red.
Yes, that's the Alexis dress, the one shoulder.
Yes. Like I'm dying for it.
That one, Misa. So basically, the truth is, what you're wearing today, that silhouette, people wear it with sneakers. The Veronicas,
right. So
the Veronicas wear it with sneakers. So you know, to have that perfect white sneaker, I think is super important. A lot of times you will show a novelty sneaker, and I just think like that casual look. So I don't think people are getting away from looking good and feeling good and wanting to look pretty. I was selling a lot of blouses. People were doing like Zoom holidays and Zoom meetings, and they wanted to get dressed. So they didn't necessarily have to be dressed top to bottom, but they wanted to feel pretty and put makeup on the top. So, you know, like you said, for me personally, I'm a working mother. I have friends. I'm Zooming. We had Zoom girlfriend conversations every week. And I did Passover and, you know, all of that. So I wanted to get dressed. I woke up every morning because we did those videos. So that's one reason I did it. But I wouldn't have gotten as dressed, but I stayed like that all day. I did not get out of my work clothes until the evening. So because we were at home, there were no boundaries in terms of hours. So people were FaceTiming me literally. Probably it would start slowing down around 9 o'clock where I felt comfortable. I could get on my pajamas and if someone has to see me that way, so be it.
What you really changed your technology during that time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we all have. I mean, like you just said, you're on Zoom more. I have found as much as I have sort of no boundaries in my own business, I kind of never have. And much to a lot of people in my family's dismay, but I just don't. But I do feel like we're working even harder now.
For sure.
And I've said that about all of the family businesses, the small business, the way we work is so much harder, don't you? I mean, you're finding.
So I think we're starting to get. I was at my home for 2 months, over 2 months. I think we didn't know to set boundaries at the beginning. So not only did I not set hours or boundaries with clients, you didn't want to miss a sale or an opportunity. My daughter was home, Howard was home, so they could help me at different times. Julia was like a lifesaver. She actually at some point she's like, Mother, you're going to need spreadsheets. You know, she's that whole Ross Business School thing going on. And she really was adamant about like having good systems in place because this was our life. So I think I'll just make it in terms of like contacting vendors. So a lot of my reps were working from home, designers were working from home. And not only did I not set boundaries, they didn't either. And so I found myself texting somebody with, you know, I needed a jean order right away filled. And I would text them, you know, it could be 10 o'clock at night. I wasn't even thinking because time went away. Like after the battle, I'm still having trouble understanding time now. I'm like, I don't even know what day it is. I'm constantly checking my phone because it's like Groundhog's Day every day. I'm just.
So do you feel like that now that you're back in the store, or are you trying now? And what about your vendors and the
So my
designers?
vendors in New York, they're all still at home.
Yeah.
They're not going back to
Okay.
the office, because their showroom's office, it's not really a safe environment right now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but everybody is working from home.
So will they have, or are they anticipating, like, when would you go to New York next? When would?
I might have gone in the summer, and then I would go back in September. And then from September, I go in December. And then from December, I go in February. So those are really important markets for us.
So how does September look to you right now?
I remember my rep from, I think it was Ramey Brooks, she texted me, she's like, I'm just trying to get a handle on if you're coming into New York. And I just wrote laugh out loud. I'm like, I'm not coming in September, not a chance. But, it was cute, like she did it. And we just had our Zoom meeting. It was a long meeting yesterday, trying to get all of that Ramey Brooks stuff. It's like,
is it looking like she's like, here's a dress, here's a shirt?
It's actually harder. So they actually will go, it's not everybody, but she actually went into the showroom. I'll tell you 2 good experiences, 3 actually. With Veronica Beard, I did it from pictures, but I really know that product. And I had also placed a fall order already. So I was just really editing. I could go back and look at my pictures. So right now I'm just dealing with fall. September will be a different story because I might not be able to touch and feel and really get a handle on exactly what's out there and what the fit is. I'm really particular with fit. I tend to get naked, try things on, and I want to really see details. And I make a lot less mistakes doing that, just being able to have it personally on my body, or at least be standing there with a model.
Right.
So for Ramey Brooks, she brought in a model. She was actually in her showroom.
Oh, okay.
So I shouldn't say Ramey. Ramey actually just opened up a store on Madison Avenue. So she's working that store. And then my rep had a model and someone to help assist her. And she basically did it as if I was there. So it was it was this showroom experience. They went into the showroom for this. And that's how they're doing their appointments. Legence, I've been doing it from pictures. And they actually, Oscar, I don't know if you ever caught that when he did the stylist. So their stylist is actually helping her because again, he knows my clients now. He knows exactly what I sell. So he can kind of help me interpret, what things I would need and what he actually knows a lot of my clients by name now because he's been here like 3 times doing, shows. And that's helpful because I do those shows with reps. And a lot of times the reps will come in or the designers come in, and that really saved me also because again, they know my clients. The same clients that come in for every show. So it was really helpful for me to have that experience.
I think that's such an incredible and important aspect of your business that I really want to highlight because for those designers and reps to come in, you've built that reputation, you've built that with them. They get to know your clients. You have built that reputation with your own clients. That's really important as a small business. And I use the word small business, so you're not so small, but a local business in this community. I mean, that's an incredible thing to have done. And, that's why people come to you. That's why, the respect that both the designer and the reps have, and they do come in, or they'll do recently you had a whole Zoom.
That was with Oscar.
Event, and that they're willing to take, those times and those moments with you and your customers. It's important.
So the funny thing about that show that you're talking about, that was with Oscar from Legence. And Oscar actually called me and said, Sharon, all our conference calls in our company are talking about your videos. So we're going to do something. So that was kind of cool. Like that they like the concept of like that kind of one-on-one. And I'll just touch on this really quickly. I think the reason customers really love the videos, which is why we're continuing to do them, because again, some people aren't going to want to come in, remember, and some people do want to come in, but because I'm actually putting on the clothes, they can now see it on a person, but also the way I'm selling is if you're standing right in front of me and I'm selling you the product, it's exactly the same experience as if you were in the fitting room with me. It's that kind of excitement, that kind of passion, whether it's me or my staff. And, they're all stylists and it's so much fun. And
yeah, because
it seems fun for people.
Well, I saw one of your employees the other day was back and she was putting on clothes too. So that
was a professional model. That does not hurt. It's nice.
Right. Tell me about, we're going to talk about two things. Tell me about your employees coming back. Everybody, was not working, which is so hard for local businesses.
Right.
When you are a local business, you're so many are family businesses, but so many like yourself, your employees are your family.
Right.
You're with them day and night. You actually see your employees more than you see your kids right now.
Right.
So how are they doing? How are they doing back in the store? How are they feeling about being back in the store?
I'll tell you, which was just, I hear a lot of different things out there and for different reasons. I will tell you, my team throughout this entire thing, they were so helpful. Like, don't forget, we had some of those special events like Oscar with the masks were a big seller. And so they have their own personal relationships. So a lot of their clients were texting them. So they were at home and they wanted to be part of it. And when we had the opportunity to come back, no one said anything. They were just like, tell me the days you need me. Like everyone was ready. We have so much fun here. That was a huge miss for me. It was wonderful being with my family, but it's different.
Right.
It's different. It's a little, my daughter had to like deal with me. My husband had to deal with me, my team, we're all kind of the same. We're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So, the experience is the same when you're here. But they missed us. They missed us. They missed us.
And then tell me about your customers. How are you working with your customers? Because some people want to come back, some people don't. So tell me tell me what she is doing right now.
So the first week was a shorter week for us. We didn't move. I don't think we were officially moved in until Wednesday. So the first week, it reminded me of like a Seinfeld episode, like people like kind of walking in.
Yeah, they're like
not sure what to do. We have like the front lobby area and you could tell people were nervous, but we had masks on. All the customers have come in with masks. I would not have to dictate to a client.
Well, I will say this, you have some of the best repurposed designer masks. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to throw it out there again. You've got to go to Instagram and take a look at, because these are some hot looking.
Yeah. We have a bunch of really beautiful masks from, repurpose upcycle masks or silk scarves made into masks. And then we have some other ones that are from an artist, she does like artist graphics on it and we sell them. They fit really well. And if a client were to come in, I do have a box of the disposable ones. You can grab a couple of those and I have gloves here, but really I don't think there's any customer that I've had to say, you need to have a mask. Everyone's come in wearing a mask. People are very careful and very, we have a great community here of responsible people that shop in our store and everybody has really come in full force. The first couple of days were a little slow, but then we got right back into our routine. We've been very busy, which is what we needed to see. I had no idea. I knew what we would do every day in the dining room. That became my new reel. And then, so that was what I was dealing with. So I remember saying to Howard that the scarier part was going back in the store because I did not know what to expect at all. So I've been pleasantly surprised. The minute I'm off the phone with you, I have 2 appointments right after. So, whether you make an appointment or you walk in, it's perfect.
I think what's great is that here in Michigan, people are starting to go out, even if it's going out to a friend's backyard.
Correct.
But like, I went to a friend's house on Saturday night. I wanted to put something on, I wanted to put on, something that I hadn't worn to work in my home office. I wanted to, feel good.
Right.
you know? And so I think, you know, the bottom line is, I say it all the time, we have to support
Mhm.
our local community, or that it won't be there for us. You know, I sort of
100%.
sound like a broken record. I don't care. It's, you know, really been my brand, you know, and I'm going to keep saying it.
And Sarah, back in the day, you couldn't get everything in Michigan. That's the truth. So you would go to New York or Chicago, but that's not the truth anymore.
Right.
You know, whether it's the department stores or our local boutiques, we have everything at our fingertips. And really, there's not a lot out there that you can't get, high to low and everything in between. So,
well, and I will say that our local community of shops really concentrate on that. They really, I mean, yes, there's some overlap and we know that, but they really concentrate on their customer.
Correct.
I mean, they really think about their customer. You really, like, that's the one thing when we were talking about when you go to New York, which is really fun to watch. One of the first things, your first Instagram is, I'm heading to New York, DM me,
Right.
Let me know what you're looking for. That's your first, I know, that's your first.
That's a signal.
That is like, I am getting on the plane, you know, you're having breakfast, I'm off to the showroom, and, you know, your certain showrooms, you're like, let me know if you like this, let me know. And, you know, I'm sure in Dallas or LA, there's some store that maybe does that or does, or I don't, you know, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now that there are local stores here that's how they speak to their customers. And so, you know, and you are number one at doing that, saying, hey, you know, my friends, my customers, I'm here looking for you. Right. I'm bringing it back to you.
So I receive a lot of responses from that exact that message.
You wouldn't do it otherwise, but
so
you know, that's what you're.
I do that because we are known for providing like so many special occasion outfits. So the hard part about being that store is that someone buying a special occasion outfit does not want their audience, you know, whether it's a mitzvah or a wet, they don't want their own outfit. So the nice thing is when I go to market, when someone sees that, they'll say, I have a special event. I'm looking for this kind of dress. Now, when I'm doing the assortment, I can say, all right, you know what? I could do this dress and only bring it in for you. So I do that a lot because I don't want to be caught at a restaurant when two of my clients walk in wearing the same thing. I really think about that because that's what will happen if I don't do me. Does that make sense?
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because I remember the days of Saks.
Yeah.
And you start, and I did start going to you. I was working, and I wanted the black pants, and then, you know, the 5 sweaters, and you styled some of my friends.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, did they just buy this? Because we all go to dinner together.
Right.
And I was like, you know, and you think about it, but like, okay, they're black pants and like the black sweater, and, you know, you don't want to always show up
it's really
what your friends are wearing.
So I can't tell you the amount of times, like I might be doing some paperwork in the back and I'll walk out and I'll see a cousin of one of my clients wearing something that I just sold their family member. I'm like, let me find something else. It happens. Right. I'm not, I would never mention someone's name ever in my store until I see that they're at risk to be wearing the same outfit, because that's, you know, that's like a retail thing. You know, you don't want that to ever happen because, again, I'll be the one sitting at the table at the restaurant with my husband and family, and 2 of my clients will walk in wearing the same thing. That's like a nightmare that I have all the time.
That's why you don't sleep.
That's one of my fears.
So I don't want to keep you because you are the hardest working woman I know, and I know you have clients coming up. Are there some things coming up at She, or, you know, some definite sales you want to talk about?
So we have some of our merchandise that was featured at She in the dining room at 40% off now. But most importantly, we have so many new things coming in this week. Super excited. And by the end of this week, I'll have my Rainy Brook show up. So I'm very excited about that. And I really went, again, full force, because now that the clubs are back open and the restaurants are having, you know, experiences for people outside, I think that there's going to be a lot more needs for the dresses and the pretty tops and all of that. So we have a huge order of Veronica Beard coming in. We have the Rainy Brook show going on this week. I just received, I'm wearing my jewelry, you know, gotta do a little
That's so
plug.
pretty too.
Look at my stacked ear. So this is that Joey DiGiuliani, and I'm obsessed with this stuff. So it's really beautiful. So we have that show going on right now, Rami and Veronica Beard coming in. I have more Legence coming in. I just asked Misa if they had any more dresses as well. We had some requests for some short ones. So, you know, we do what we do. And I think it's working. So.
I think it's great. I love the fact that, you know, like so many stores, you are making sure that your clients are comfortable. So if they want to come in, they don't need an appointment. They can come in, mask on.
Yep.
But they also can look at your Instagram, call you,
Yep.
you know, do whatever they're comfortable with as they're easing back into this, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of needs something new and special. We're getting out there this summer. It will make you feel good. And you carry clothing. I do want to say, if you're going to someone's home, you have candles, books. I mean, it's really special to take the friend that you haven't seen in 3 months, a little gift. That's always kind of nice. And, you know, the thing about Sharon that I will say, it's really important that you walk out the door, she's going to put you in something that makes you feel good, that represents how you would look, but she wants you to look good because it represents her local store that, I mean, this is a woman who works so hard and doesn't sleep.
I'm working on the sleep thing. I'm trying to sleep.
I know, but I know how hard you've been working a long time, really hard. You go at it just guns blazing, with a really good heart. And you know, it sounds belittling to say I'm proud of you.
No, I love it when you listen. You say that to me a lot, which I love, and you talk a lot, Sarah. It's nice. Like,
yeah,
I'm having an issue. You're my first call, and I you know, I always like to use it as a sounding board. And like you said, you do some partnerships with my PR person. So I know that you two are on the same page. So if I want like that kind of friend / extra PR person, I can call you up.
Well, you know you get the truth from both of us. And, you know, I think that the best part of it is that we're women who work hard and we, you know, want the best. You know, and I think that you have just like this great loyal customer base. And that's, you know, the best thing that I love about the last, you know, few months, that they're coming back, however they come back. And
100%.
You know, and the thing that we didn't have time to talk about, but is important to bring up, is that when, again, you can have a lot of people in your store, you do things a lot with philanthropies. And one of the reasons that you moved into a larger space was so you could do that. And so I look forward to when you can do that again in the big space with the gorgeous Jonathan Adler furniture and accessories. Because if you haven't been into Sharon's She stores, it's just a magnificent, beautiful store.
Thank you. And I'm here today.
And she's
we're
here
open until 4:00.
4:00. So thank you. I'm so glad. I know you don't love to do interviews, so I'm glad I coerced you a little bit.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Sarah. It's really, you've been a support for all of us. I cannot stress that enough. I think that you really, you know, I know I tell you this all the time, but you really have our best interest. You have the community best interest in mind. I think the minute you wake up until you are sound asleep at night, you think about us. And I know that. And it's definitely makes me feel good. be
Wow.
part of it.
I love to see what you're doing. So go to work.
I will be there. Thank you.
My love.
Have a wonderful day. Sarah.
You too.
And everybody out there, come see us.
I will. She stores.